Hey,
Going.
what's up?
You know I'm punctual, right? So
I know. I was here at 8:58, typing things in, making sure everything was right. Is my
okay.
face too close? You feel?
No, your face isn't too close. I know. I'm trying to get used to this whole thing too.
Oh,
It's something. I'm like, gotta make sure the lighting. You know, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9:01. It's already past my bedtime. So you know.
come on, Golden Girl, get it together. All right, get it together.
It was so funny last night when I'm like, when are you going? I'm going to bed. You sent it just in time. I literally just like plugged in my phone.
Hey, man, I'm like the essential, quintessential rather, person who's up late. And so like I put everything, I'm like, that's when my brain starts functioning. I'm like, I can get everything done. So I know you was like, when you gonna put up the plot? I was like, I got it.
I was like, look, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like waking myself up. I'm like, all right, I gotta stay up till 9 o'clock today.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But we're here.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you
know
for inviting me. We've been
no doubt. Thank you for
some time
participating. Was that?
I said we've been talking about this for some time now.
Yeah, yes. You know, and this is the perfect time to have you on this here platform. So I'm super excited. Thanks again for taking time out to do this. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another dope edition of Dope Chats with yours truly, Stretch. That is I. And tonight I am joined by a good friend of mine. I think known each other for over 25 years, maybe.
It's probably been that long.
Yeah, since we were.
I was actually gonna break out the powwow picture today, but I couldn't find it. But
I got it.
Go figure. You know, 20-something years later, we were creative then.
Right.
Didn't realize it as we chose our field of work, and then look.
And then here we are now. You know what I'm saying?
Full circle.
It's all full circle. All full circle. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your love for Arthur and extraordinaire and just a woman who loves the finer things in life. Give it up for my girl Bianca Williams. Thank you. So yes. So it's funny, you know, like you said, you know, we've known each other for quite some time, and you know, who would have ever fathomed the fact that we both would be, you know, kind of in the same field in the sense of being authors.
I know.
So let's talk about your transition. What made you want to be a writer?
You just froze in the middle of your question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you have to repeat it.
I'm back. Oh, I asked, what made you want to become a writer?
Oh, wow. So I think the desire was just always there. And you know how it is. You can want to write, but if you don't have a story, what are you really writing about? So I think early on, it was just more so journaling. Definitely had the interest as I was in college, taking those creative writing courses as an elective, and really fell in love with it. But again, even after graduation and, you know, into real life, I was like, I just can't come up with the story. And then eventually I got a story. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
It's funny because, like, you know, the story will always find its way to you, whether it be good, whether it be bad, heartbreaking, or whatever the case may be, but it's your story.
Exactly.
And the fact that you were able to, you know, take your story. Let's speak on that. Like,
okay,
what was the platform that made you come to the point where you've created your trilogy, which is entitled Sidelined? What? Because I'll let you tell the story, because I don't want, you know, what made the story come to life? Well,
so the story is inspired by true events. And I want to be very clear, it's inspired by true events. It kind of, I'm trying to think. So while I wrote the story, it was in a period of pain. You know, I went through this horrendous breakup. And I was crying at my desk, and I'm sure I've shared the story before. For those of you who haven't heard it, I was crying at my desk, boo-hooing away, and I just had this epiphany. And and that's kind of when the story came, the idea for the story. And it was almost like a data download. I kind of jotted everything down, but the story itself and elements of it, because it is fiction.
Right.
So you're able to be creative. And yes, there are some characters that are inspired by people you know, but then you get to create other characters. Or some characters are made up of about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that you know. Or if it's a situation, you know, that may have happened in my life, which I found very interesting, you know, you can kind of incorporate that into the story. But I think that in that pain, in order for me, I don't want to say to escape it, but to process it, that's kind of where I turned to writing.
Right.
And then the story kind of evolved from there. So it's almost like, you know, when you hear artists like Adele, like whenever she has this breakup, she writes this, you know, amazing record. It was like 21, 20, 19, 21, 25.
Yeah.
You know them. And, you know, she just went through a divorce. So I'm expecting a magic to come out of that. And I think that's what happens sometimes with creatives. You know, you go through an experience, and then if you turn to it, process it, as you know, you're an author, so you know, it's extremely cathartic, right?
Absolutely.
And exactly. So instead of walking around being depressed or sad or crying, every night I would just have that laptop, and sometimes I would go till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would just let my mind, free my mind, and then just let things come. So it was in the beginning, it was very fun. And then when you release the book, then comes the pressure, as I'm sure you've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. First, I'm just blown off the fact that you just said you was up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you fussing at me for I go to bed at 9 o'clock.
But see, I'm not writing right now. See, right?
Yeah, fact. That's true. That's true.
No, but early on in the process, kind of like when it was like the ideas were coming, it would be like sometimes, you know, after the football camps that we would do, you know, I'd be up all night long creating slideshows and everything else. After that, I would start to writing. Or, you know, I would see a situation where I would talk to a friend. It would be lots of different things because ideas were just constantly coming. So I would want to capture them in that moment so you don't lose it.
Yeah. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because like for me, I know when I was working on my book, like again, like I tell you, like I'm a night person. So I remember some advice that a mentor gave me a long time ago. He was like, oh, when you write, he's like, well, when I write, I always listen to, you know, like soundtracks or something like an instrumental, because music kind of like helps set the tone.
Oh, yes.
For where you're going to go. And, you know, like for me, based off of like being with my book is, you know, a lot of related to music and for the most part, I was listening to those songs as I'm writing, and all of the stuff just started to come to me. So that's dope.
Yeah, you know, music holds memories, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely have a Sidelined soundtrack. I think I share it on my YouTube channel. Yeah, where I have like the songs that I kind of listen to, like you said, as you were writing, or songs that are actually in the book. You know?
Send that to me. Me. I want to check it out, and I'll send you the link to mine as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's dope, because I like to listen and kind of get a sense of like what you were listening to that kind of like help create that zone that you got into, especially when you were writing. So that's dope. So
it's my best friend calls it my suicide soundtrack. But actually, no, it's not all sad music, but there's definitely some, you know, upbeat music, some rap music. But no, you're right. It does help.
Shout out to the best friend. Say her name.
Oh, Jasmine.
There you go. What's up, Jasmine?
You know, she's not watching this live. She's tuned into the debate.
I know. And it's funny.
Donkey.
And I know we was talking about, you know, the debate's gonna be on, yada yada. I got it. People, so shout out to all those people who are tuning in now, who are watching the debate. But you don't want to miss out on this great conversation right here, because it's gonna be very insightful for you. So let's talk about the process of being a self-published author, like the trials and tribulations that you went through in order to get your book out, or your books.
It's interesting that you asked that question, because I was just writing a blog, actually in the process of writing a blog about that. It's funny because after you write the book, you know, you're like, oh, you know, like the end, I'm done. But as
Mm-hmm.
a self-published author, you're just getting started, right? You are just getting started. I mean, once you write the end, you know, obviously you have to get it edited.
Right.
Moreover, right? You don't just want to go through one round, you want to go through multiple rounds. Then you got to go through, once you get that back, you have to do your beta reads.
Mm-hmm.
You have to send it out to, you know, either you can do a professional or you can do close friends that you kind of trust and have them read it. You know, they're looking for like holes in the story, if something doesn't make sense. You know, as a traditional published author, I would assume that, you know, the publishing house has like a whole team that would take care of all that. But since you're doing it yourself, you have to manage that process. You have to make sure that they stay on target so that you can get it, you know, through the next stage. So you got to work with reliable people. Hey, I need your feedback. Get them to answer said questions. But then you can take it back. Then you've got your rewrites based on feedback that they give you. Then you got to go through the editing process all over again.
Right.
Proofreading, and then you got to go to distribution.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a lot. Once you get to distribution, you got to have your marketing plan.
Yeah.
Graphics, you got your, I mean, the photo shoot, the whole nine. It really is a lengthy process. And I think going in initially, I didn't realize how much work it was. And I want to say for my first book launch, I kind of just relied on like my local community, kind of friends and stuff like that. I was still holding it very close. You were there at my book launch. Thank you for being there. I was kind of like really afraid to say, you know, here world, here's my first book.
Right.
For the second book, I hired a company to help me with marketing, but they were focused more on like the influencers, and influencers aren't really book readers.
Book readers, yeah.
But they're influencers. So, you know, the word kind of gets out there and stuff like that, and definitely had more sales with the second book than the first book.
Right.
For my third book, I'm going to really, really give it a big push. And I am working with a book public relations person. I'm really, really excited about to see what she's able to do. And hopefully she's watching. If not, she's probably watching the debate. But, you know, so I'm really excited to see what this last push of this third book will be like. But self-publishing, as you know, you're doing everything. And you have to be part of every single decision constantly. It's a lot of work.
And it's funny that you mentioned
that. Hats off to you for doing it as well.
Well, thank you. Well, hats off to you for being so open to, I was like, I gotta call Bianca. I will call you and ask you, I'm like, yo, fill me in, give me the juice, because it's dope that you're, you know, first and foremost, thank you for being so open to assisting me in the process, because, you know, you got to go to people who've been through the battle, understand it, and can assist you. And it's funny because I think it's dope that for the most part within this community of, you know, self-published authors, we all need to help each other out.
We do.
And it's funny that because a lot of times I'll sit up here on Instagram or I'll see like people's videos and, you know, talking about how they assist, you know, up-and-coming authors or self-published authors, but then it's just a bunch of this, and then when you try to follow up with them to you know, of course, get their expertise or ask questions, is like ghost town. So, but I thank you for being open and helping your boy out.
Of course, and you know, if I can help anybody, you know, learn from my mistakes, because I've had successes and I've had failures. You know, I've invested, because for me, it wasn't about the money. You know, like I invested into the project, a lot of money, as you know.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
And, moreover, right? This is book 3. But in the end, I think it was worth it because I wasn't willing. I didn't get picked up by a traditional publisher, but in the beginning, I did go through that route. You know, the query letters and kind of putting it out there. And, you know, I would get some feedback, you know, well, art is subjective, and, you know, and I agree, everything's not for everybody. They're looking for something mainstream, and that's fine. I did have a few indie publishers which were interested, but when you do that, you have to give them control. And I remember this one call I had, she's like, oh yeah, I can see the cover. Yeah, we're gonna have him, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, we're gonna do what? I was like, yeah, nah, let me call you back. And then at the time, I was at my company, and the guy that worked for me said, Bianca, you're in business. Like, you can do this. Do the research. And he was right. And I'm actually glad I listened to him. Thanks, John, for the advice. And after that, I just made the decision, and I stopped sending out the query letters. I stopped looking for someone to represent me. I was like, I can do this. I'm a business person. I'm going to do it on my own.
Yeah, I mean, and the dope thing about it is once you create something and you know that it's catchy and it's going to be compelling and it's going to drive people to want to, read it, those that you were seeking will find you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
you're right. Your readers will find you.
Yeah.
So true.
And not even just them, but just like the publishers and and the agents, they'll come to you because they see that there's a demand for what you're putting out. Mm-hmm. And I think for me being and maybe I can speak for you too, having the complete control of your project is the most essential thing for me, because I don't want to listen to nobody. If I'm a fail, I'm a fail because I fucked up. You know what
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. No, and I agree with that too. And also, like you said, if you ever wanted to do something else with it, right? Let's just say you want to make a movie, miniseries, TV, whatever the case may be. I've heard situations where, like, famous people will buy the rights to a project and then shelve it.
Yeah.
And then
you can never do anything. You can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know. And you, as you know too, your work, it becomes your baby, right? You're just not going to give your baby to just anybody. It becomes very personal. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're an author and that is what you do, that is the only thing you do. I'm a director of finance. This is not how I eat.
Yeah, no.
But there are some people who are just like, I don't want to do that other stuff. I don't want to have a second career. I'm focusing on writing. So that's what they have to do. And that is how they eat. So they do have to churn out stories and sell them because that's how they live.
Right.
Fortunately for me, it's not a hobby. It's something that I would like to do full time. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I like the finer things in life. So I'm always going to make sure, I got that good government job.
Right. Because I mean, writing a book is so dope in the sense that, because not many people can honestly say, "Yo, I've written a book," right?
Right. And so many people want to.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people want to. They want to. And the fact that you got it out there, and people actually are reading the story that you've created is so and I guess in essence it's an exciting feeling to have. But again, from the standpoint of, having that creative and that full control over your project is so I guess rewarding in the sense that, no one can tell you right or wrong, because it is your story and it's
right.
And how you want to present it and how you want to get it out there, that's your prerogative. So, I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to have the opportunity to be, represented by, a publishing agency and all that stuff like that. Maybe someday, but for right now, what I create, what you create is ours. And so,
I mean, even look at the music industry, right? All those people who wanted to be with those huge record labels, now everybody wants to get away from them and they want to be independent, right? Because there's a demand for what, they're producing.
Right.
So, I mean, it would be interesting to see. I haven't had the time to really do like any type of case studies to, look across this industry to say, which, these New York Times best-selling authors decided to go independent. I don't know. Double check and see, but.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be the most lavish thing in the world to have it. But like you said, doing this and putting all the hard work in from a self-publishing perspective, it's not like, this shit not paying my mortgage.
Right.
It's just because I love to do it. And I engage, well, not really engage, but I put myself into my work in the sense of, telling a story and trying to create these characters that I think people can relate to.
Mm-hmm. So with you, and I don't want to turn it on to you to make me the interviewer, but, with you now coming up on a year of being published and it being out there and engaging with readers and getting feedback, how has it been for you? You know, getting a little taste of the action, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been dope. You know what I mean? Because the cool thing about it, in the sense of, because with my true profession being in my background being in radio and well, in the entertainment business, is like, it's been I kind of thought like, oh, yo, it's gonna be bananas, man, because I'm just gonna be sending this out to all my contacts and everybody's gonna be like, wow, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then I'm like, hello? Hello? I was like, damn, yo, you know, but then I had to realize, for me, you know, going through this journey, is that, you know, your friends and your family are your friends and your family, right? Because of course, they're going to support.
Right.
But they're not my audience, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, I had to kind of take the time to really do, investigate and fine tune and figure out who my audience is. And so I think that in itself has been very therapeutic, in the sense of going through this full year, as we're coming up to a full year of the book release, of reading the reviews or getting emails from people who've read my book who I've never even met before.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, this joint is dope. I can relate. You know, I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Like, that's the feeling that I was going for. And so trying to continue to ride that momentum and build and continue to create that that foundation is the most important thing to me. So, I mean, throughout this whole year, it's been dope. It's definitely been dope.
Good. But that's the key. You just said the most important thing is finding your audience and finding that reader that can relate to your story. Because, like I said before, everything ain't for everybody, right? And not everybody is going to get it. So you do have to find your target audience. Like for me, it's young, Black, not necessarily young, but I'm saying there's a certain age range, 21 to 55. Because if you're over, you know, if you're over 55, they're like, oh, that's juvenile. Well, the main character is 25 years old.
Right.
She's juvenile, of course. And then, you know, they're, you know, they may or may not love sports, but it's a love story. It's romance, right? They have to be interested in some type of romance. And my second book has lots of drama. So if you're somebody who just does not like a lot of drama, this book is not for you, because you're going to be all over the place and you'll be like, too much drama.
Right.
I've made the mistake early on. I knew in the beginning, like, my audience was like me. Not saying that men don't read my book, but I am my target audience. I represent my target audience. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to try to market this to everybody. And again, that was a mistake, because when you do that, then you start getting the 1-star reviews where people are just like, ugh, like, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. And then, of course, there's the trolls. I mean, when you read a book that you don't like, do you go out to seek and just trash them on the internet? No, right? Just go, okay, I didn't like it, and you just kind of keep it. But, I mean, that's just kind of where we're at right now. So you find that target audience, and then you're going to get that type of response where I could really relate. I liked it. Maybe not so much, but you won't have like the crazy trolls when you try to, you know, appeal to the masses. So depending on what your work is.
That's what's up. Shout out to Jasmine. She just joined.
Oh, did she? Oh,
yeah. What's up
lately? How's the debate going?
Yeah. Shout out to Jasmine. Oh man. So when you went through the process of writing your trilogy, like, what was there? Did it take you on an emotional roller coaster? Was it, like, I know you said it was like therapeutic, but did you find, I guess, closure?
Oh yeah.
And from the experience of writing the book or the books? Most
definitely. I will say, I started writing the first book back in 2013. So I've been working on this for a while now. Even though the first book didn't come out till 2017. When the first book was done, I didn't know how the series was going to end, right? Right. I didn't figure it out until years later. And then when I finally figured it out, I was like, oh my God, you know, I got to write this book. And I knew the whole time that the third book was going to be the worst one to write. So the second book definitely took me on an emotional roller coaster, because you want it to be authentic. And you know how it is when you're writing, you want the audience to feel it.
Right.
So when I cry, I want my reader crying. So when I read my work, I literally like go through the emotions as well. So like once it goes to print, I don't read it again.
Right.
But prior to that, you know, I want to make sure I'm going on the emotional roller coaster as well. And then in order to do that, you got to dig deep. You got to go places you don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And for the third book, almost definitely. But I will say when it was done, I cried. I cried. When it was time to say, like, I'm done, I won't be writing about, you know, Bryn, Jen, Terry, Shane, you know, all my favorite characters. I'm like, it's done. I cried. And I was like, oh my God, I was literally on my laptop crying. And then I shut it and I was just like, I can't believe it. I could not. I'm done. And I'll miss them, right? Because, you know, people love them. Like no character is perfect. Like each character has their flaws. Every character's got good and bad in them. And then people get attached to them and they love them. I mean, haven't you read a book where you got attached to a character and just like mourn their death if they died? I did.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or you on a TV show or some sort like that. You get attached to those characters. So I most definitely went, you know, all the emotions. I felt it during the process.
That's
100%.
That's dope. That's dope. So when can we expect the third book to be coming out?
Well, I can't say yet. I will be announcing it soon. I will say it is coming out fall of 2020.
Okay.
So get ready because it's coming. The announcement is coming. You know, follow me on social media. You know, Be Will Books. It's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And my email, bewillbooks.com. Subscribe to the list to keep updated, you know, because I'll be doing giveaways. We're doing all kinds of stuff. You know, we may have some advanced reader copies available, I'm just saying, but it's coming out fall 2020. So,
and especially for those folks who haven't had a chance.
Yes. Oh, catch up.
To catch up.
With part one.
Cop those first two books.
Yes, in fact, I have them right here.
Right. There you go.
Part one. So you check the lighting is right. Sidelined the Draft. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, everywhere books are sold. Actually, it's out of stock on Amazon right now, so you better go to Barnes & Noble. All right. And then The Penalty. Sidelined The Penalty. And same thing. And they're in stock on Amazon, so you can get these from Amazon. So yes, get caught up because the contract, the finale, it is sizzling hot. It like my tea's not hot anymore. It's cool, but you know, it's sizzling hot. Y'all gonna be like, oh my goodness. No,
talk your talk, shorty.
No,
talk
they
your
didn't.
talk.
No, they didn't. Yes. It is the trilogy, and I can't believe I wrote a trilogy.
Hey,
I just can't believe it. But I am excited.
that's dope.
It is an accomplishment. And as you know, it's very rewarding. I mean, think about it. Think about when you wrote that first book.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding.
It absolutely is. It is funny, like you mentioned, like sometimes when you sit there and you read it, because although I've, you know, we've written books or we, you know, wrote our books, like reading it over and over and over.
Yes.
At the point in time, I was like, yo, I'm done. I'm like, people just read the book. Y'all tell me what you think. And the people start talking, you know, telling me something like, oh shit, I forgot I even wrote that. Because I'm just like, I'm just got so tired. But, you know, because you spend so much time.
Yes.
And energy and everything up in there. But as you said, at the end of the day, it's a reward. It's so rewarding to have that accomplishment underneath your belt. Yeah.
It is. And then you just see residuals just going into your account. It's like an investment account, right? You just see them deposits coming in. You're like, oh, I forgot about that. You know, after a while, you just, you know, after the big ones come in early, you know, when the book first comes out, you see them big checks. You're like, oh yeah, keep them coming. All of a sudden, you know, $5 here, $5. Yeah. Like, oh, all right.
I was spoiled because I was like, oh shit. Then I was like, oh.
That was like after that big shipment went out, right? You're like, yes. And then it's like, oh, well, what happened? What was it?
Right. And I think because like we talked about this the other night, is like the fact that how COVID has definitely impacted everything.
Yes.
You know, from the standpoint of the promotion, of the standpoint of getting out there, and meeting your audience and having the opportunity to connect and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of shifted.
Yeah.
So we're restricted, and we have to do, you know, certain things like this and on platforms like this. How has that? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Like, how has it been for you in regards to like connecting with your already solid base audience out there?
Yeah, you know, I don't know yet because I've been writing through, you know, the whole COVID process. I haven't really needed to be out there. I'm definitely going to miss engaging with people. That was my favorite part about this whole process. Yes, people going online and leaving reviews, that's great. Oh, and we'll just have to put that out there. Reviews are important. Help your small local authors write a review. Amazon and Goodreads, review.
All right. Facts.
It's so important. It helps us because marketing dollars are so expensive. It's so expensive to market, and then we're competing against I mean, you can start naming them. I can't think of any right now, but the big time authors take up all the space. You know, we're in competition with them. But if Amazon or Goodreads or those type of platforms see that there's activity or there's a demand, they'll start recommending your book to people in your target audience. Mm-hmm. So if you love your author, even if you don't like them, love them, you just like them, just say, I liked it. It's still about the author. So I just don't put that out there. But I haven't really got a chance to experience what it's going to be like engaging over this type of platform. And I'm really going to miss that in person, the festivals, the Baltimore Festival, which I absolutely love, the one in Atlanta that I was telling you about, the book club festival. You really get a chance to meet readers. There are hardcore, die-hard readers. I'm talking about these people that read multiple books in a day. Right. And they take a book, they'll read the back, and they be like, tell me more. And you just get to say, and they be like, you know, and they'll leave a review, they'll engage. I love book festivals. So it's going to be interesting. And we may have to do a part 2 to see what it's like, releasing a book in this type of environment, because I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait until, COVID is over, because we just don't know when it's going to be over. Right. So I was really excited about having a launch party and just saying, I'm done, and inviting my readers, my faithful readers who are like constantly contacting me saying, well, when is the next book? I wanted to invite them to a private event and just really do it up big and just say, I'm done, but you can't do it. We're all wearing masks and whatnot. We just can't do it. So
Zoom will be your friend. Zoom it up. Zoom it up.
Okay.
Yep.
I will try. I have done a few Zoom brunches with friends, and it's good to see their face and laugh and stuff like that. But you know how it is. It's in person. You really miss that connection. So, and taking pictures and just, chatting it up.
Right. Well, it'll work itself out, man. I'm super excited for you. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we have the choice. You know what I mean? But I'm super excited for this 3rd book. I can't wait to get my hands on it and read it. I encourage everybody, if you have not picked up the first 2 books, do that right now. Because as Bianca has said, this 3rd book seems like it's going to be something that's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
Right.
It's definitely hot.
So you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out. And most importantly, you don't want to pick up the books out of order.
No. Don't do that. That would be a disservice, because each book literally picks up where the one left off. Right. You definitely want to read them in order, because I actually, that happens, right? Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because when you do write a trilogy, they really encourage you each book to be like a standalone. Not let it just pick up to kind of where it left off. But I was like, if the 50 Shades of Grey lady can do it, why can't I do it? Well, right. I mean, she's the 50 Shades of Grey. Right. That's why. But people will pick up the 2nd book without realizing it's a 2nd book, because they just didn't pay attention. And then they go, what? Who? What? And then it's weird because in the 2nd book, you don't want to have to reintroduce all of your characters, because
Right.
it seems weird. You start reintroducing them again, you start describing them again, and then the people who already read book one are like, why are we going through this again? But sometimes you have to remind them, but you know, you can be true to yourself, and you got to do what's best to you. I know, you know, the industry says let them all be standalones, but I decided to kind of pick up where the book before left off. So
Facts. Hey man, you
know,
are
I self-publish my books. I can do whatever I want to do.
I was about that exactly what I was getting ready to say. You know what I'm saying? You are the beat to your own drum. Do your own thing. Set your own trend, sister. Set your own trend.
It's interesting because a lot of people in the beginning said don't write first person. What is it? First person point of view.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I'm missing something. Present tense, first person point of view. And everybody's like, you know, write third person, write from the past, and I just couldn't do it. So it's just like, you know what? I'm self-publishing my book. I can do whatever I want to do.
Facts. And you know, and it's funny that you said that too, because like I wrote from first person.
Yeah.
And because ideally the story is somewhat related to me.
Right.
I had to write it from that standpoint, from the main character. You know what I mean? Now it was hard because I had to go back because I had to realize like, oh snap, the wording I may have presented something in past tense, but it's really present tense.
Right.
But you know, it was like, but again, it's the story that I know, or you know, fictitiously know.
Inspired.
Yeah, inspired by. So I had to make it, you know, had to put it out there to the way that I know to the best of my ability. But I think going forward, like for my second book, definitely won't be first person. No. Because I mean, I kind of have an idea of where I'm going. Okay. So you know, it'll be written, I guess, in a third person, you know, style. But yeah, no more first person for me.
Yeah, because a third person, you can kind of jump into everybody's brain and kind of tell what's going on with everybody, so it kind of works. And I struggled with that. In the beginning when I was first writing it, was my editor that points it out. She's like, why are we hearing about what this person thinks? Britt is asleep. How does she know? How does Britt know what's going on with this person? And I was like, you're right. So what I decided to do in the second book, and I've actually seen one of my favorite authors did that. I wrote a chapter from the other character's point of view. Mm. So the second book has a few chapters written from the other main character's point of view. And in the third book, everyone finally gets to hear from Shane. So yeah, actually you had to write from a man's point of view. So it'll be interesting to see with, you know, guys who read it and like, you know, did I do a good job? So we'll see.
That's dope. Know,
right? Could you imagine? Could you imagine writing from a woman's point of view, Ulysses? Could you imagine?
No. Hey, girl.
Try it.
Call me Stretch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stretch.
It's all good. I'm just messing with you. Oh, I know. That is funny.
But you knew we were going to have fun. You were like,
yeah.
Oh, we're only going to be 15 minutes. I'm like, you and I be on the phone. You be like, oh, B, I got a quick question. And we be on the phone for like forever. So I'm like, you really think we're going to be online for 15 minutes? Come on now. We go on forever.
I know. We're going to talk. It's all good. No, yo, you know, the funny thing is like in my book, even though one of my main characters is, of course, is a female and she's the main. It's interesting because with my main character, again, is in first person. So the dialogue that I created from when those two interact, oh man, I think I did nail the space and from a female voice.
Yes.
Because of the interactions and the experiences that I've had with women throughout the years. And, you know, and some of the things I've heard, like in conversation or just like you know, listening to being a part of a conversation where women are talking with one another about men, I'm like, whoa, that's okay.
Yeah.
Remember that because I'm gonna need that. And so I think I was able to capture that. So and honestly, I thought that was going to be the hard part for me because I wanted to like completely remove myself out of the I guess more or less out of the realm of like, okay, write it, but write it where it doesn't sound like it's a man trying to pretend to, you know.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is the key right there, because it was like, would a guy say this? And it wasn't so much voice, but it was that inner voice where I was just like, because, you know, I don't know, you know, women, my God, we analyze. We be like, well, if he said this, it probably means this, and we could write a dissertation. But
right.
One guy was like, no, we don't. No, it's not like that. No,
right.
we don't. No. So
yeah, we don't think that. We don't think that way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I was just like, because I remember this one friend was like, just don't think about him. I'm like, how do you not think about somebody? He's like, what do you mean? How do you not? You just don't do it. I'm like, I don't know if it's a woman thing. I think it's a woman thing. I don't know one woman that can just turn their brain off and say, I'm never going to think about him again. But a guy can just turn it off just like that. I'm like, how do you guys do that? It's crazy.
I mean, you know, it's a Jedi mind trick.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. But look, I mean, the funny thing is, like, we'll forget, or we can cut it off, but all it takes is for like something subtle or small to like ignite that thing to make you remember that person. And then you be like, damn, I wonder what, you know, so and so's doing. Then you hit him up with the quick, hey, what's up? You know.
All the names just changed to do not answer after that.
Yeah, put it on D.
Hey, how you doing? Just do not answer pops up.
Do not answer. There you go. Block him. Block him. It's nothing worse than being blocked, boy. Trust. You send that text and you be like, oh shit, it didn't even say delivered. I've been blocked.
I don't think I've ever blocked, but I definitely changed the name in the phone.
It'd
be like, I can't say it. Almost said something bad online.
Oh, damn. Dropping that jewel.
I just changed the name.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense too. And you know, listen, I'm not trying to say I'm the perfect man in the world, but I definitely have my fair share of, you know, F ups. And so I know where the times I've been called the flakiest of them all. I'm quite flaky. I get it.
Don't tell me you one of them ones that go missing in action.
Oh,
Stretch. You don't go missing in action, do you?
Sometimes. You know, in my past, Bianca, I've had opportunities to just disappear, and you know, but I've resurfaced. I'm working on myself, but. The fact is, I remember sometimes where I'm like, you know, if I haven't talked to somebody in a while, I'm just like, oh shit, you know, because in my mind, I'm like, everything was cool. You know, I'm just hitting you up, saying what's up. And I get the, you know, again, where you send a message and it says not delivered, or it doesn't even show delivered. And then I'm like, okay, let me try the call. And it goes straight to voicemail. Oh, I've been blocked. And then I just like, I've been blocked. So then at that point in time, I'm like, well, ain't shit I can do about that. You know what I mean? So,
oh my God.
You know, and I'm a Pisces too. So, you know, I'm very emotional and it gets to me because I'm like, what did I do? How can I fix it? What is wrong? Help me, please. But, you know, it is what it is.
Oh, God, that's funny. Well, I'm a Gemini, so I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, see?
The crazy come out.
Oh, yeah, well, keep that crazy under wraps, Jack.
I keep it under wraps for a really long time. Until they...
And then you want to... I feel it. Hey, look. So, look, I have these two questions before we wrap these up, and I wanted to get your thing. So, these are cuff cards. So, shout out to my man, Emil, creator of the Cuff Games. So... it's being that you wrote a romance novel and you are a connoisseur of all fine things when it comes to the matters of the heart. Let's jump into these joints. So, question number one: should your friends have an opinion on who you date?
No.
Expound on that.
Well, it's not a hard no. Okay, it's not a hard no, but I do think a relationship is between two people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you start involving your friends, especially it's too early, because you got to remember too, especially with women, they tend to share a lot of the bad, but not the good. And I don't know why we do that, but we do. So that's why whenever they do something bad, your girls rally behind you. Yeah, let's go, let's talk about it. And then if he does something good, they don't hear about it. So if you're going to get your friend's opinion, make sure you're sharing the good and the bad. That way you're getting a balanced opinion and not just the opinion from hearing all the horrible things that he's done or what, you know, like you said, you get emotional. It may have been something small. You know, person gets emotional, calls their girlfriend crying. Oh, he this, he this, he that. And then the next day or later on that night, y'all boot up again. And then your best friend or your friends is like, you know, she's a hot mess. But then when you start talking about it and getting their opinion, it just, every time you have a problem, to me, it just causes more problems.
Right.
Try to keep the relationship between two people. Yes, you can listen to your friends, but just take it as a grain of salt, I guess. Okay. Because I think it just causes too much problems. When I was younger, I kind of did that, but now that I'm older, it's just like, no. Just keep people out of your relationship.
Facts. I agree.
It's the best thing.
100%. Yeah. All right. Second question. After a breakup, is it better to cut off all ties or stay in touch?
Interesting. You say that. And it's crazy because both questions you asked me, I addressed in the third book. I think you have to cut things off depending on the relationship and the breakup. Now, I will say, I'm the best girlfriend ever. And I'm just going to kind of put that out there. And all of my exes, I'm actually friends with almost all of my exes. All but one, actually. Seriously, I'm actually very, very close friends. And they all respect me. They before, and most of them are married, but like before they got married, I heard from them and they were just like, you know, oh my gosh, you know, you were so amazing, blah, 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 blah. I'm serious. Like, I'm cool with them. We get along. If I see you in the streets, whatever the case may be, even me and my baby daddy, we're very close, cordial. We get along because I'm just a nice person, not just to toot my own horn, but I want to just say I'm just a good-hearted person and I try to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And I don't mind being friends with someone after an ex, but I find that sometimes men have a problem with that. Okay. Because they have a problem with drawing that line between friendship and intimacy. And or they just cannot go back to being your friend if you were once a friend.
Right.
And then really, what does that friendship look like? Right?
True.
Especially if, you know, the guy thinks that you still like him when you really don't. So I think that I want to say that women can probably handle it better being friends with their ex, but not so much the guys. And, but I mean, try it. I mean, I would say I would recommend it, but it depends on if you can handle it or not.
Interesting.
Can you?
What?
Handle being friends with an ex.
I don't see why not. I mean, yeah, as long as they don't block me.
Yeah. But I was saying, like I said, I think there are a few factors at play.
Right.
I want to say that initially, like my gut feeling is that you should be able to, right? Because we're all adults here. We're not in our 20s. We're not in our 30s, right? Right? We're adults. So you should be able to carry on a friendship beyond the breakup. But I think it also depends on, you know, what transpired.
And I was gonna say it all depends on what transpired in the relationship, what led to you to the point where you're no longer together, and if you can stomach the situation in the sense of like, okay, maybe we're not meant to be together from a relationship standpoint, but maybe it's better if we're just friends, you know. So I agree. I see it like that.
And it's tough too because I'm the type of person I fall in love with a person, like their heart, like I really, really fall in love with them. So if like we're friends and then, you know, obviously we become lovers, we're in a relationship, it's just like, okay, that love stuff didn't work out, but I still care about you as a person, right? I wouldn't want you to get hit by a car. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. It's just like, I really, truly care about the person. So that's why I'm always open to, of course we can be friends, But when I say we can be friends, I really do mean friends.
Right.
Not friends.
No benefits.
Friends.
Yeah. Ain't no hanky panky. Ain't no extra stuff going on over here.
Right.
We're just friends.
Exactly.
Facts.
So we'll see.
Word.
To be continued.
Well, hey, on that note, Bianca, I want to first and foremost again thank you for taking time out to joining me tonight on Dope Chats with Stretch. I know we are fighting the debate here and everything like that, but I think for those folks who will be tuning in and watching this at a later time, they will definitely get some jewels that you dropped, especially when it comes to being a self-published author. First and foremost, and second of all, I want to thank you for even just, creating your story and putting your story out there. And I need for everybody out there, again, to purchase Sidelined. It's a trilogy, all right? And part 3 will be coming very soon.
All 2020.
Oh, you go. So in the meantime, make sure you log on to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, all places where books are sold, and pick up her book. And also, the platform is yours right now, Bianca, so let everybody know where they can follow you and all that great stuff.
Yes, if you've enjoyed today's chat, you can follow me on Instagram, BWill Books, Facebook, like me, be at BWill Books, and Twitter. I'm not really active on Twitter, but I do have a Twitter account. If you do like Twitter, just start chatting and I'll chat back. I really don't know how to use Twitter, but one day, you never know. But yes, I'm out there. I'm most active on Instagram. I will definitely engage. Shoot me a message, DM me. No crazy pics, but listen, you gotta put the disclaimer out there.
Be careful how you phrase things.
When I said DM me, I thought about it. I'm like, let me just kind of put that out there.
Hey, girl, I got a sideline for you right here.
Listen, right? But no, Stretch. I gotta get used to that.
It's all good. You listen.
As you're always a great host, and this was fun. I'm glad I finally said yes, because I know I was like, my hair not done. It's COVID. I got gray hairs. I got to put dye in my hair.
Come on now.
My foundation not matching anymore. I gave you all these excuses about why I couldn't come on, but I'm glad we got a chance to connect. We had a great conversation as always. And again, we'll have to do this again sometime soon. We'll have to do like a sideline relationship edition or something, because your book is about relationships, my book is about relationships. We should do like something and get more of those. What are those cards called?
The cup cards.
Cup cards. Yeah. Fun.
Well, trust. I got something in the works, because I'm thinking of expanding this and actually doing a bona fide Dope Since 76 podcast. So we'll revisit and make it happen. So it'll be audio, and we'll have an opportunity to talk longer for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that being said, Bianca, thank you again. Have a good night. Now you can go watch the debate.
Listen, I'm getting in the shower. Look, I'm wrapping this hair up. I'm getting in the shower. I'm going to bed.
I forgot. It's a golden girl time. All right, Blanche Devereaux, you have yourself a wonderful night. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Bye. Good night. Bye, everybody.